In this video, I'm going to show you everything touchscreen on the Fujifilm X-T3 camera. You are going to be a touchscreen master. After watching this video, you will have earned your Fujifilm touchscreen master degree. That's the FTMD certification. And wait, there's more. You'll even get a downloadable certificate you can print and hang on your wall, officially signed by Pal2Tech. Yeah. That's the kind of show I am. That's the kind of show we are. Roll intro. Hi everyone, welcome to the Pal2Tech show. I'm your host, Pal2Tech, and yes, we're going to be making it a show from now on. Today we're talking about the Fujifilm X-T3 touchscreen options and how to best use them on this awesome mirrorless camera. Oh, and by the way, I found a surprise setting on this camera that I'll bet some of you don't even know about, but that's coming later. Let's get you up to speed now on everything so that you can earn your FTMD. The touchscreen on the X-T3 is used to control four main parts of the camera. 1, to control some of the menu options and shortcut actions. 2, to control the basic functions for shooting stills. 3, to control video in what's called movie silent control mode. And number 4, to provide for kind of an easier control when you're viewing and playing back stills and video on the camera. Now there are 3 areas on the camera that you access and deal with the touchscreen. 2 places are buried in the menu system, and a third is right on the screen itself. So to access the first location, you go down to the wrench, and you would think you would get into screen setup. That's not where it is. You need to go down to button dial setting, and then in there, go all the way to page 3, touch screen setting, and here you can make sure that it's turned on or off. The other area is over in AFMF, and it's on page 3 of that, and here can control 4 functions of the touchscreen, and that actually is the same set of controls that you would find on the screen right in this area right here. So to enable touchscreen setting, you need to go into the menu, button dial setting, touchscreen setting, and just make sure that it's turned on right here. Even if you don't use touchscreen for shooting, I'd recommend leaving it on, as it can be quite handy for shuttling through your still photos in the playback mode. The second one, double tap setting. This allows you to double tap the screen to, in theory, zoom in. In practice, I've found this to work about 60% of the time, and I keep it off. So let's turn it off. The third one down, touch function. This is what allows you to swipe up, down, left, and right to assign a shortcut feature to one of those movements on the touchscreen. So the next one, touch screen setting. This controls whether or not you want the touchscreen to work when you're playing back and going through photos that you've already shot. I keep this on, and I recommend that you keep it on as well. And the last one, number 5, is called EVF touchscreen area settings. This is actually very handy, and it's to prevent your nose from accidentally activating the touchscreen and screwing things up. So if you're right eye dominant, and that, if you're looking through the viewfinder with your right eye, then you want to disable the left half of the touchscreen and vice versa. And that's a really nice thing. That way you're not always tripping it with your nose, okay? And another nice feature is that you can choose off to disable touch controls completely when the viewfinder is active. So that's a very handy menu item right there. The first category, control of the menu options. That doesn't feel to me like it's yet fully mature and implemented as well as it should be. Let me show you why this is so goofy. Let's say I go into the little wrench icon, I go into Save Data Setup in the user settings, and I go down to copyright info. Let's see, enter author's info. All right, so I can obviously start typing things using the touchscreen. You see that? All right, I can do that. I can kind of manipulate controls and that sort of thing. All right, so that works very, very well. The only problem with this is, for example, as I'm doing it here, I can't enter it in. I'm tapping on enter with my finger, so it's like the touch controls work for some of the buttons, but they don't work for all of the buttons. And so to do that, then you have to press this, and you have to do a combination of it. So it's not complete yet. It doesn't seem like it's fully implemented yet. What I do use the touchscreen for when it comes to controlling the camera pretty much is to assign shortcuts to it based on swipe actions, such as up, down, left, right, etc. And that's very easy to do. Press and hold down DISP back button on the back, and then in here, simply you can assign it right like in this area right here. For example, I have assigned swipe up to the histogram. So now if I'm ever out and about and I go whoosh, like that, up comes the histogram. So that is actually very handy for me. So now in the second category, shooting stills, you're presented with 4 main options: shot, AF, area, and off. Let's go through each one. With shot, if you have it on shot, what that means is wherever you tap on the camera in the back using the touchscreen, that will cause the camera to focus and then release the shutter. So watch this, like this, for example. So let's say I want to take a picture of this. Now, here's something to keep in mind. If you're in burst mode, so let's say you're in, CH, right up at the top here. Now you go and if you press and hold down, it will keep taking photos as long as you have your finger held on the display. Watch like this. See, there's a single shot. Here's burst mode. Okay, so the second option is autofocus mode, AF, and this allows you to relocate the focus frame to set focus on the subject. And how this works is based on how you have your focus mode selector button set. So if you are in AFS mode, then that means the camera will focus when you tap the display, and then it will stay locked, and it will remain locked. Even if you press down on the shutter button halfway, it'll still be locked where you originally tapped the focus, and it will remain that way until you turn it off. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I aim the camera here, let me turn it on. Okay, now if I don't want to be in shot mode. So if I'm in AF mode right here, and I go ahead and I tap to focus, if I turn the camera somewhere else and I press halfway down the shutter, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. You see that? So what I have to do is I have to turn it off. It'll kind of release it. Okay, now, if you are in AFC mode on here, touchscreen acts very similar as it does with AFS, meaning that, it'll focus when you tap on the display. But then the difference is that the camera will continue to adjust the focus until you tap the AF off icon. Now keep this in mind, at no time will the touchscreen actually take the picture. That will only happen when you have this in shot mode. Now the next one is called area, and I call this finger mode, right? So if you put it in area, this will relocate the focus point to wherever it is that you tap on the screen, but the camera does not autofocus, nor does it take the photo, right? Here you just tap a point on the display and the camera moves the focus point to where you tapped. So why would you need that? Well, there's something I like to call hypertasking touch mode. And here's how that works. You take the camera and you put it up to your face, right? So you're looking through the viewfinder, and then you take your finger, and while you're looking through the viewfinder, you take your finger and you can kind of move this thing around and you can kind of control it while you're looking through the camera at the same time. For some of you, that might be a little bit cool, and it's sort of a feature that stands apart from the others. Especially with video, you can actually move it around a little bit. You look a little silly doing it though, because you're kind of like, you're doing this. This is hypertasking touch mode, everybody. All right, there we go. You know what? It's still overall a little bit goofy. I prefer the joystick. Okay, so the last one is simply off, and that turns off the touch screen for focus and shooting. It'll still stay on for still manipulation when you're playing back images. I should mention that AF, area, and off all work the same when the camera is in manual mode, when you put it in manual mode. However, when you have the camera set to shot and you are in manual mode, the camera will not focus, but rather just take the shot. So let's say I'm here, I'm not in focus, I have it in shot, boom, I take the shot. Okay, so, and that makes sense if you think about it. Next, we come to video, and this is the third category of the camera control that the touchscreen offers. It's called Movie Silent Control, and it allows you to use the touchscreen to replace the physical controls on the camera. Let's say you're shooting in drastically changing lighting conditions and you need to make a quick adjustment using one of these dials, say the aperture ring or the ISO. Here's the problem. When you're shooting video, what else is being recorded? Audio, right? So if you're turning these knobs like this, that sound is getting put with your footage. So with movie silent mode, you can avoid this completely. And it's really cool. Here's how you turn it on. You go into the camera and scroll down. Let's see where it is. All the way last menu item at the bottom of page 5, okay, but here it is. And you just turn it on. So once you put it in movie silent mode, these dials are going to be disabled. Now you have a new icon on the screen, and it's called Set. And if you tap that icon, you can now either use the touch screen to manipulate these menu items, or you can use the joystick. And so for example, I can go here, hit menu, and I can change my ISO. Boom. And it's silent. It's silent, right? Now, here's the awesome thing I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the feature that I don't think a lot of you know about with the X-T3. If you have the camera set in movie silent mode, it allows you to completely separate the video and the stills settings so that you can jump back and forth and never have to change settings. But wait, there's more. If you turn the camera off and then turn them back on again, it will still be there for you. So you can have a different ISO, you can have a different aperture, you could be out shooting video, and as long as you're in movie silent mode, you can then switch over to still photography, take a bunch of shots, change the aperture, change blah, blah, all those settings. Everything else will be exactly as you left it when you last shot video. That is so handy, I can't even tell you. I love that thing, I love it, I love it. Now, it will reset itself if you take the camera out of movie silent mode. So if you disable movie silent mode, then it's going to forget all those settings that you have. Honestly, what I do and what I recommend you do, keep the camera in movie silent mode all the time. Why not? It's very, very handy. And finally, we come to the fourth category for the touchscreen, which is playing back stills. And for that, it pretty much acts like a smartphone, pinch to zoom and to swipe and all that. So for example, you could pinch to zoom in like that. You can swipe between different pictures. The only thing is, it's a bit less responsive and a bit more clunky than using, say, an iPhone or an Android device. But I think it's a nice and welcome improvement, and I'm finding that I'm using it more and more. Well, congratulations. If you've made it this far, then you have earned your official FTSE certification. All you need to do now is download your certificate. I'll have it in a link in the description below. You just print this up, put your name on it, and it's automatically signed by your host, Pal2Tech. Then, make sure that you nail it to your wall. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't yet already. By the way, this area of the studio, there's something going on behind this wall, all right? Yeah, something I've been working on that I'm gonna share with you. I'm gonna take you beyond this thing right here. You're gonna go and see the other side of it. Something I've been working on for a month and a half. I can't wait to share it with you. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in another video. So long.